I met her during my second year of college. Let's call her Emily. She was magnetic, funny, charming, knew exactly what to say and when to say it. Everyone liked her, including me. I wasn't even looking for a relationship, but somehow she pulled me in like gravity. We started dating, and for the first year, it was like living in a dream. She'd cook me dinner, send long texts about how lucky she was to have me, and always wanted to hang out with my friends. She even got close to my family. I was convinced I'd hit the jackpot. But here's the thing about dreams, they end. And sometimes, you don't even realize it until you've already woken up bleeding. Looking back, the signs were there. She was always texting someone. If I asked, it was my cousin or group project stuff. Sometimes she'd disappear for hours and come back with a story that didn't quite line up. But she was so good at making me feel like the crazy one for even questioning her. Then came the lies. Small ones at first. Things like, I didn't go out last night, when a friend would casually mention seeing her at a bar. Or, I didn't see your message, even though it was marked read. Nothing I could prove, just enough to make me feel uneasy. But I still loved her. Or maybe I loved the version of her I thought was real. That was my first mistake. What she didn't know, what she never expected, was that I'm not the type to go down quietly. She thought she could play me and walk away clean. She had no idea who she was messing with. Things really started to shift when I noticed she'd become too comfortable lying. One night, she told me she was staying in to study for a big exam. I didn't think twice until I saw a photo on a friend's Instagram story, a group selfie at a club, and there she was, center stage, holding up a drink with that same fake smile I'd fallen for. I didn't confront her, not yet. I just replied to her goodnight text with a simple, hope the studying's going well. She had no idea I'd already seen the truth, and that gave me power. From that moment on, I made a choice. I'd stop being the trusting boyfriend and start being the quiet observer. I became methodical. I didn't snoop, not exactly, but I started watching. Patterns, habits, who she talked to, who she avoided, the moment she'd go offline and suddenly reappear as if nothing happened. I didn't tell my friends what was going on because I didn't want anyone to warn her, even accidentally. Then it escalated. She started canceling plans last minute, got too tired to hang out. Her phone was always face down. She became defensive if I even looked at her screen. One day, I caught a glimpse of a text from someone saved as Mia that read, "Can't wait to see you again." Mia, huh? That's when I realized I wasn't dealing with a single lie. I was dealing with a web, carefully spun, designed to trap me while she played house with other guys behind my back. So I did what any smart person does when they walk into a spider's web. I stopped struggling. I went still. And I planned. If you've ever been truly betrayed, you know the moment it clicks, when doubt turns into cold, hard certainty. For me, that moment came on a rainy Thursday. She left her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter while she showered. She never used to be that careless, but I guess she thought she had me wrapped too tightly around her finger to worry. I didn't snoop. I didn't go digging through old messages. I just opened WhatsApp and checked the pinned chats. There were three. None of them were me. One was a guy named Dylan, with heart emojis next to his name. The second was Zach, who I recognized from her study group. The third was a saved number with no name, just a thread of voice messages and deleted texts. It wasn't jealousy I felt. It was clarity. It all made sense. The nights she bailed, the sudden mood swings, the vague excuses. She wasn't confused or unhappy. She was managing multiple lives and doing a damn good job at hiding it. Until now. I took screenshots, not to confront her yet, but to build my case. Then I forwarded a few particularly graphic messages to a backup email she didn't know about. One of them read, "I can't wait till I move out so I don't have to fake it anymore." That hit harder than I expected, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I smiled, because now I had what I needed. And Emily? She had no idea the walls were closing in. She walked out of the shower, kissed me on the cheek, and started talking about what movie we should watch that night. I just nodded. In my head, I was already writing the final scene of her story. After that night, everything changed, but not for her. For me, I became quiet, focused, calculated. I wasn't just going to expose her. I wanted her to feel it, slowly, deeply. I wanted her to realize that the world she carefully built on lies could crumble just as carefully, brick by brick. First, I made a backup of everything. Messages, photos, voice notes, even her calendar. She had foolishly synced it to our shared laptop. I knew exactly when and where she was meeting the other guys. Yes, plural. Next, I reached out to someone unexpected. Zach's girlfriend. I'd seen her once at a party, so I tracked her down on Instagram and sent her a polite, anonymous message. "Hey, just a heads up. You might want to check who Zach is meeting on Tuesdays after class. Good luck." Then Dylan's name. I found his profile and scrolled until I saw pictures of him with his younger sister. Bingo. I messaged her too. "You might want to ask your brother who Emily is and what she's doing when she's supposedly studying with him." But the best part? Emily's birthday was coming up. She had planned a weekend getaway with the girls, but in reality, she was going with Dylan. I let her plan the whole thing, acting excited, even offering to drive her to the train station. Behind the scenes, I made one last move. I created a private Instagram account under a fake name and uploaded everything: screenshots, videos, messages, no commentary, just the truth. I didn't make it public yet. I was saving that for the grand finale. You see, she had built a fantasy around herself, and I was going to let it all fall apart. On her birthday. In my head, I was already writing the final scene of her story. Emily was glowing that morning. She came downstairs with her little weekend bag, dressed to impress, wearing the smile of someone who thought she'd won. "You sure you're okay with dropping me off?" she asked, batting her lashes like she was still fooling me. "Of course," I smiled. "Anything for you." The ride to the station was calm. She played her favorite playlist. I kept glancing at her through the rearview mirror, wondering how someone could look so innocent while being so toxic. As I parked, she leaned in and kissed me. "I'll text you when I get there, okay?" I nodded. "Have fun, babe." She walked off, not a care in the world. 10 minutes later, I posted the link to the private Instagram account. Not just anywhere. I sent it directly to her parents, her best friend, Dylan, Zach, Zach's girlfriend, her sorority group chat, and yes, even Dylan's little sister. Every single person who thought Emily was sweet, loyal, trustworthy, they all got a front row seat. Each post was time-stamped, each message untouched, no captions, just truth. I didn't wait long. By the time her train reached the halfway point, her phone was blowing up. Dozens of messages, calls from people she never wanted to see in the same conversation. At 2 p.m., she finally called me. I let it ring. Then she texted, "What the hell did you do?" I just replied, "Happy birthday, Emily." She didn't respond after that. But I know what happened next, because people love to talk. And the fallout was delicious. Emily's world imploded in slow motion, and I had front row seats to every glorious second of it. Her parents, furious. Her mom called me the next day in tears, apologizing for how they treated me like a son while their daughter was running a circus behind their backs. I told her she didn't owe me anything. I wasn't doing this for pity. I was doing it for truth. Zach's girlfriend left him, publicly. Her Instagram story just said, "Some people deserve exactly what they get. Good luck, Emily." Ouch. Dylan? He had no idea she was also seeing Zach and at least two other guys. Apparently, when he confronted her mid-trip, she tried to deny everything until he pulled out his phone and showed her the page. The trip ended early. Emily came home to silence. Friends stopped texting. She was kicked from her sorority group chat. Her perfect image? Gone. I heard through the grapevine that she tried blaming me, calling it a manipulated smear campaign. But people saw the receipts. No Photoshop, no edits, just her own words and actions, collected over months. Some even messaged me saying, "Dude, I wish I had the patience you did." But here's the thing, I wasn't patient. I was strategic. She didn't just break my heart. She played me like I was disposable. That's the part people never get. It's not about revenge for being dumped. It's about making sure someone like her never gets to wear that fake halo again. For the first time in a long time, I felt peace. But I wasn't quite done yet, because there was one final message I needed to send, and it wasn't for her. A few weeks passed. The chaos settled. Emily disappeared from social media entirely. No new posts, no stories, just silence. Her reputation burned to ash. The girl who once strutted through campus like she owned it now avoided the main hallways entirely. People talked, people stared, and every now and then, someone would still share the infamous Instagram account that started it all. But I had one more thing to do. See, revenge doesn't feel complete when it's just destruction. I didn't want to just break her down. I wanted to build myself up, quietly, without drama. I started focusing on myself again, hit the gym, picked up a new project, got closer with friends I'd unintentionally neglected while I was trying to fix a relationship that was never real to begin with. And then I sent one final message, not to Emily, but to my past self. I wrote it and saved it in my notes app. It said, "You saw the signs, you felt the lies, but you still chose to love her. That wasn't weakness, it was proof you had a heart. But now, you've also got a spine. You didn't let it break you. You turned pain into power, and she has to live with the fact that you ended her game without ever raising your voice." That message wasn't for views or applause. It was for me, because no matter how epic the revenge was, the real win was this. I healed. She didn't, and I never looked back.